Happy Tuesday, guys. Today's home workout is a 10-round workout. There's a 25-minute time limit on it, but remember with these home workouts, if you need to, just go slightly above that time limit or just below. That's just to give you an idea of where you should be kind of finishing at. 5 strict pull-ups, 10 air squats, 5 strict handstand push-ups, then another 10 air squats. So you're looking at about 200 air squats, 50 strict pull-ups, 50 strict handstand push-ups. Starting off with the pull-ups here, guys, if you don't have a bar to do your pull-ups off of, remember you always have that option to get a towel and put it in between your door frame, so you have both ends of the towel but the edge is inside the door frame there, and you can do some kind of horizontal pull-up with that as long as it's safe, so make sure it's secure and it's really tightened up into that door frame there. Or if you have some weights where you can do some bent over rows with, that's a great option too for your strict pull-ups. I would recommend try to find something heavy, since it is strict and not kipping for the workout, to mimic that body weight pull, okay? Then 10 air squats, so keeping that heart rate moving. 5 strict handstand push-ups. With these handstand push-ups, you can't quite get inverted and do your handstand push-ups. Let's try doing a dive bomber or an L position handstand push-ups, which means you're going to put your feet on something that's elevated and get yourself into an L position, which means your torso is going to be similar to that inverted position, but your legs are horizontal to the floor. So a good progression to start building up to those handstand push-ups. Then finishing off that round with 10 air squats. You want to finish a round every 2 minutes, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds there. It will vary depending on what progressions you use here, but you should be able to finish within the 25-minute time cap today. And overall today, guys, we're working on building gymnastics strength and endurance in gymnastics movement today. So you will feel, or like there will be some fatigue that sets in, but it shouldn't be significant where you have to take huge breaks in between movements. So I would say rounds 8 and over to about 10, you might need to take more breaks between these strict pull-ups and the strict handstand push-ups. But in the first kind of 5 rounds, these should be unbroken or in 2 sets that are quickly done one after another, okay? So after this workout, guys, we're gonna do some work for the legs there, single-legged work, and this could be used as a stretch for some mobility in those hip flexors, or even some strength work in the bottom range of motion. Doing 3 and 3 per side of Bulgarian squats. So those are single-legged squats with their leg elevated onto a box, or you can do it off your couch. Then we're doing a 5-second pause at the bottom of each rep. So use that time to make sure that hip is in that right position, knee is stable. Also the ankle, watch the ankle there. It'll kind of give you an idea of how stable you are. You want to try to keep that ankle pinned to the floor. I like to kind of grip the floor with my feet, with my toes, to allow me to keep everything else up the chain nice and stable. So think about that when you're doing your Bulgarian squats. It's only 3 sets, not that many reps, but more time under tension in the bottom of that Bulgarian squat. Hope you guys enjoy this workout today, guys, and the Afterburner. We'll see you next for the warm-up video. Alright, so for today's warm-up, we're going to start with an active lat stretch. So that means we're not just staying in a static position. We're trying to be moving a little bit in that position with the shoulder around, try to feel out the lats and activate the lats ideally. So for this lat stretch, guys, you can almost do this with any style of lat stretch. For this one, we're just going to do it off the floor, no equipment needed. Get on your knees there, then you're going to reach through the opposite corner of your body, so we're lengthening that one side of our body, especially the lats specifically. I like to push my hand over the top of my hand there, kind of keep it anchored to the ground, and then pull my shoulder blade away from my hand, feeling that stretch, or kind of just leaning into it to lengthen that muscle. From there, to keep it active, I'm going to pull my shoulder blade in, pull my shoulder blade out, kind of work around in that position. Again, we don't want to stay static, we want to try to also activate the muscle a little bit for our movements today. Once you finish 90 seconds per side, we're going to go into our warm-up here with 3 rounds. And these are continuous rounds, so keep a running timer. Each interval is about 20 seconds, and we kind of want to move at a pace. We're kind of getting that heart rate up, feeling out the movements, and getting ourselves primed. So 20 seconds of the bottom of the single-legged deadlift hold with some flies continuously throughout that 20 seconds. So I'm not going to use any weights here. You can use weights if you like, keep them light. The hardest part is going to be the balance part of it, for holding for 20 seconds. So for that single-legged deadlift with the body weight, I'm going to keep that back leg straight. For the leg that's on the floor, the knee is slightly bent. I'm going to hinge over at the hips, come to a point where my back is flat, I feel balanced, and then I'm going to go for those flies for 20 seconds, really trying to activate that upper back as I do the flies or as I hold that bottom of the single-legged deadlift. Doing that for one side for 20 seconds, then the next 20 seconds, grab your PVC, your broomstick, any kind of straight object to kind of mimic this, and we're going to go for alternating PVC pass-throughs with a lunge. So I'm going to get into my snatch width, so a nice wide grip so I can go through that full pass-through, and as I'm doing that pass-through, I'm going to lunge forward, lunge back in, and bring that PVC back in, and then I'm going to switch sides, same thing on the opposite side. So you're going to be doing reps for 20 seconds there. Once you finish that, we're going to go back to the bottom of the single-legged deadlift hold with the flies as we do that hold, but on the opposite side. So right side, again, hinge at the hips, come down, and then go for those flies for those 20 seconds. Once you finish that, guys, we're going to come down to the floor. Last 20 seconds here of hollow rocks. So we can start from our pike position. We're going to tighten up our core, so kind of make that banana shape with our body, at least with the upper back there. Tightening up the core, feet are together. I'm going to sit back, come off the ground, and I'm going to rock back and forth with control, hands by my side, or even overhead. You can bend your knees and hold it with your hands as well. We're really just trying to activate that core and find that coordination with the movement for the rest of the movements later on. So 3 rounds of that, continuous rounds, keep a running timer, 20 seconds of one of a different movement each time. And again, if you like, progress, make it a little more challenging as you go to your 3rd round there. That will be the warm-up for today. We'll see you guys next for the movement standards.
I'm going to show you how to do that. Of course, we're going to use our rings here. But think about that same thing. So the bed sheet's going to be coming out of the door. You're going to lean back and extend your arms fully, holding onto the bed sheet. You're going to think about first engaging the muscles between your shoulder blades by pinching them together, and then you're going to bring yourself in towards the door. And notice how Jess's shoulder blades are really squeezed together here before she lowers herself back down. Elbows also stay close to the body here. We don't want your elbows flaring out here. Elbows nice and close, so she's showing the elbow flare out. We don't want that. Keep the elbows tight. Try to really feel those muscles in the upper back. Sometimes we cheat a little bit by using our arms too much for this movement, but I want you guys to really focus on your back.
Going into those air squats next. So air squats here, guys. Big thing, keep that chest tall. I like to kind of keep my hands out in front of me so that when I'm getting tired, I'm not looking down as I'm squatting. So I know some of you, when you get tired, hands kind of flop to the sides or in front of you and you're looking down. Try to keep those hands up a little bit taller and look straight ahead to keep that chest tall, and also to allow you to keep your weight more distributed towards that mid-foot and the heel. So again, as opposed to doing this, guys, we're trying to keep our hands up and try to stay on that mid-foot to heel more as we're coming down in our squat and coming up from our squat. So for the strict handstand push-ups, again, you can have that second progression just in case that first progression you just lose your strength, or like halfway through you're not able to do the rep. Always have that second backup in case, just to keep the workout going. So for that, guys, we're going to talk about that dive bomber. So we're going to use that dive bomber as a progression, and then we're going to go into that strict handstand push-up as the next progression above that. So with that dive bomber, guys, you go nice and wide with your feet. Guys, you should use some kind of ab mat or some kind of mat to get your head down to the ground. I contact with it. Hands are going to be in about push-up width, and they're going to be close to the feet. From here, we're going to think about leaning forward so that we're on those toes and getting over top of those wrists. And then from there, we're going to be dropping the head down right in front of our hands. So notice that my hands are behind my head and they're not in line. So I want them back here. Then I'm going to press my head straight through the window to finish that rep. So that's key, guys, really trying to get our head in front of our hands when we're doing that strict handstand push-up, whether it be with that dive bomber or even if you get your feet on a box and do it elevated. Make sure that head is going in front of the hands so we can really use that back to drive it up and not use the front of the delts and put too much pressure on the shoulder there. So you guys can do those, or you can do your strict handstand push-ups against the wall. Same things apply. Get those elbows in, get that head in front of the hands, stay in a nice tight body position there. Alright guys, hope you enjoy the workout. So we have some, for the Afterburner, we have some Bulgarian Squats. So you guys can use this as a stretch, or if you want to use it as an accessory just to strengthen all the legs, you can do that as well. For these Bulgarian Squats, we're doing 3 per side, and I want you to pause at the bottom for 5 seconds. So you guys, if you have a box, use a box. You could do it off your couch, so off the edge of your couch. You're going to put one foot on that object so that you're elevated off the ground. You're concentrating on that front leg. You might have to adjust that front leg based on how you come down. So if you find your knees tracking way far over the heels and your heels are raising up off the ground, you might want to bring that foot out a little bit further so you're nice and planted. So play around with that so your foot is planted to the floor. If you have good ankle mobility, you can bring your foot in a little bit more. If not, just push your foot out so you can stay nice and grounded the entire time. So Bulgarian squat, guys, squeeze the hip, the one that's on the couch or whatever it is. You're going to come down as low as you can, keep the knee in line with the big toe, chest nice and tall. Hold for that 5 seconds. Once you're in control, drive through that front leg and stand it up. Make sure this hip doesn't wander out on you, so you don't want that hip to face out on an angle. Try to keep everything nice and straight and in front of you. So 3 on one side, 3 on the other. Take a break. Make sure you're doing 5-second pauses at the bottom so you can really feel the bottom position for that stretch and to strengthen that leg. Hope you guys will enjoy the Afterburner. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.